A dangerous current is pulling our supply system under, and almost no one feels the tide. I've spent weeks in the shadows, reviewing freight schedules and internal reports not meant for public eyes. The truth I uncovered is grim. If the current trend holds, certain essential grocery items will disappear from shelves by December 15, 2025. This isn't a prediction. It's a quiet warning being whispered by those who control distribution. I am bringing this hidden knowledge into the light. I will reveal the 6 essential products you must get now, before it's too late. Pay close attention to the 4th item. It's the powerful hope you never discover. What you are about to hear is not speculation. It is a certainty. 1. The eternal liquid, zero degradation, water storage. When the infrastructure inevitably fractures, the first casualty is never the electricity or the internet. It is the flow of clean water. History has shown us time and again, from the frozen pipes of the Texas grid collapse to the tainted supply lines in Baltimore, that the taps run dry long before the public panic truly sets in. You can starve for weeks and cling to life. But without reliable hydration, your body begins to shut down in days, turning into a withered husk of its former self. This is the biological reality that most modern citizens ignore at their own peril. They stock their basements with plastic bottles of spring water, believing they are safe. They are wrong. Standard grocery store water is a ticking time bomb of contamination. The plastic used for these bottles is porous and chemically unstable. Within 12 to 18 months, it begins to degrade, leaching microscopic toxins into the very fluid meant to save you. I discovered this horror personally when I uncapped a 2-year-old emergency stash, only to be met with the stench of melted polymer, a supply rendered poisonous by the simple passage of time. To avoid this fate, you must look beyond the flimsy assurances of standard retail packaging. The only true defense against a water-starved future is long-term zero-degradation storage, specifically water sealed in oxygen-free aluminum vessels. This is the technology of aerospace logistics and military survival, engineered to withstand the blistering heat of a summer without air conditioning or the freezing dark of winter without heat. Brands that utilize this sterilization technology offer shelf lives of up to 3 decades, ensuring that while your neighbors are bartering their heirlooms for a few muddy gallons, your supply remains pristine. The fragility of our water systems cannot be overstated. During localized collapses, we have seen civilized neighborhoods descend into desperation within 72 hours, with families melting snow in bathtubs just to maintain basic sanitation. Research into emergency preparedness indicates that the average human requires a minimum of 1 gallon per day for survival, hygiene, and cooking. For a family of 4, that is 120 gallons a month. If you are relying on the municipal grid or degrading plastic bottles, you are not preparing for survival, you are preparing for a tragedy. The supply chain whispers are already indicating that bulk orders for these high-grade water reserves are being quietly restricted. You must secure your lifeline now before the reservoir of availability runs dry. 2. The biological engine, indestructible protein reserves. When the supply chain seizes up, the meat aisle is the first section of the grocery store to resemble a graveyard. It happens with terrifying speed. Modern logistics operate on a razor-thin, just-in-time model, meaning there is no backstock, no secret warehouse full of steaks, and no safety net. If the trucks stop moving for 4 days, protein vanishes from the shelves entirely. During the disruptions of 2020, we witnessed entire departments stripped bare, leaving unprepared families to subsist on empty carbohydrates. This is not merely a matter of hunger, it is a matter of physiological collapse. What the general public fails to understand is that during times of extreme stress, such as a societal or economic breakdown, your body cannibalizes its own resources. Studies confirm that under duress, the human demand for protein spikes by nearly 25% to maintain cognitive function and immune response. If you are feeding your family crackers and corn while they live in fear, you are accelerating their deterioration. You need dense, shelf-stable protein that does not rely on the fragile electrical grid to keep it safe from rot. The solution lies in stockpiling protein sources that the masses overlook until it is too late. Forget the mercury-laden tuna that amateurs hoard. The real survivor turns to canned chicken. It offers superior protein density, lower contaminant levels, and the versatility to be eaten cold, straight from the tin, without inducing nausea. It is the grim reality of survival that flavor fatigue can break morale, so pairing this with shelf-stable condiments is a psychological necessity. Beyond meat, you must look to the unexpected, such as shelf-stable silken tofu and dehydrated bean flakes. These are not merely vegetarian alternatives, they are strategic assets. Vacuum-sealed tofu can persist for months without refrigeration, providing a critical texture change when you have been eating mush for weeks. Furthermore, the most potent weapon in your arsenal should be emergency-grade protein isolate. I am not speaking of the sugary powders sold to gym-goers, but pure, unflavored whey with a multi-year shelf life. It is the cheapest protein per calorie source available, a ghostly powder that can be hidden in soups or oatmeal to keep your family's strength up when their bodies are screaming for fuel. The supply lines for these items are already straining under the weight of silent accumulation by institutional buyers. If you wait until the news announces the shortage, you will be left fighting over scraps. 3. The invisible calorie, high stability, lipids. There is a silent killer in the world of survival storage that almost no one discusses until they are staring at a pantry full of inedible food: the lack of cooking oil. In every simulation of supply chain collapse and in every real-world disaster log I have reviewed, cooking oil disappears with the same rapidity as water. It is the invisible glue of civilization's diet. Without fat, you cannot cook effectively. Your food burns, your caloric intake plummets, and the psychological comfort of a warm meal vanishes. Worse, the human body requires dietary fat to absorb vitamins and maintain energy levels, especially in the cold. Yet the average prepper makes a fatal error by stocking up on delicate oils like extra virgin olive oil. While delicious in times of peace, olive oil is a traitor in times of crisis. It is chemically volatile, turning rancid and metallic in as little as 6 months if exposed to the temperature fluctuations of a grid-down home. I have opened expensive bottles stored for emergencies only to find them smelling of old paint, effectively ruining the food they were meant to prepare. To survive the coming scarcity, you must pivot to lipids that can withstand the test of time and chaos. Refined coconut oil and avocado oil are the only logical choices for the serious stockpiler. Refined coconut oil is practically bulletproof. It is solid at room temperature, resistant to oxidation, and can remain viable for up to 5 years if kept in the dark. It is a multi-purpose survival tool, serving as a high-calorie cooking medium, a salve for wounds when medical supplies dwindle, and even a fuel for makeshift lamps. Avocado oil complements this by offering an incredibly high smoke point, allowing you to sear and fry over uncontrolled open fires without creating carcinogenic smoke. But you must act with precision. Do not buy the gallon jugs that imply value. Once the seal is broken on a large container, the clock starts ticking toward spoilage. Instead, accumulate a vast array of smaller bottles. This compartmentalization ensures that if one bottle goes bad or is contaminated, your entire reserve is not compromised. The major producers are already capping distribution to retailers, a subtle signal that the flow of these golden liquids is about to be throttled. When the shelves go empty this time, they will stay empty. You must build your reserve of these high-stability lipids immediately, for they are the difference between a meal that nourishes and a meal that sickens. 4. The forgotten harvest, nutrient-dense ancient grains. When the fragile illusion of economic stability shatters, the masses will stampede toward the familiar comfort of empty carbohydrates. They will strip the shelves of white rice and cheap pasta, oblivious to a darker truth. The grains that offer true long-term sustenance, the nutrient-rich, high-energy ancient grains, are almost always left behind until the initial wave of panic subsides and desperation sets in. This is the critical blind spot you must exploit. During the chaos of the 2020 supply chain paralysis, I witnessed this phenomenon firsthand. Aisles were barren wastelands, yet untouched bags of quinoa, bulgur, and buckwheat sat like silent sentinels, ignored by the herd. They panic buy what they recognize, not what will actually keep them alive. This is not about stocking a health-conscious pantry. This is about securing fuel that is efficient, dense, and resilient. These ancient grains are survival powerhouses, offering fast cooking times and superior nutritional profiles that become invaluable when fuel and fresh food are luxuries. Consider quinoa, a grain so nutritionally complete that it is one of the few plant-based sources of all 9 essential amino acids. In a world where protein sources have vanished, quinoa becomes more than a side dish. It becomes a lifeline, maintaining muscle mass and cognitive function under duress. Then there is bulgur, a cracked wheat that cooks faster than rice, a crucial advantage when every drop of water and every minute of fuel is precious. Barley, one of humanity's oldest cultivated grains, offers a slow-release energy that prevents the crashes associated with simple carbs, keeping you functional and focused. Millet, a drought-resistant and easily digestible grain, is perfect for the compromised immune systems of children and the elderly during a prolonged crisis. And do not overlook buckwheat. Though not technically a grain, it functions as one and contains rutin, a compound known to fortify blood vessels, a small but significant benefit when medical care is a distant memory. But acquiring these grains is only the first step. The thin plastic bags they are sold in are an invitation to infestation and decay. You must transfer every ounce into airtight mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. I learned this lesson in the most revolting way, discovering a once valuable supply of rice teeming with weevils. That is a mistake you can no longer afford to make. The price of rice is already climbing, but these ancient grains remain deceptively affordable for now. The quiet accumulation has already begun. 5. The alchemical pantry, life-saving powdered foundations. In the calculus of collapse, most people fixate on the obvious: water, meat, grains. They fail to account for the subtle ingredients that underpin nutritional stability and psychological morale. When the power grid fails and refrigeration becomes a memory, the everyday staples of a modern diet, milk, eggs, butter, will rot with terrifying speed. The loss is not just one of convenience, it is a catastrophic blow to your ability to create complete, comforting meals. I once spoke to a family who endured a prolonged flood, cut off from the world for 3 weeks. They confessed that it was not the canned beans or rice they ran out of first, but powdered milk and eggs. Their absence turned every meal into a grim, joyless affair, accelerating their family's fatigue. These powdered essentials are not mere substitutes. They are the backbone of resilience when the world outside is disintegrating. Forget the chalky, unpalatable powders of the past. Modern food science has transformed these staples. Micro-filtered powdered milk now possesses a creaminess and nutrient profile that is often more stable and consistent than its liquid counterpart sitting under harsh grocery store lights. It provides a reliable source of calcium and vitamin D, crucial for immune function when sunlight and fresh food are scarce. Even more revolutionary are crystalline egg powders, which can be reconstituted into scrambled eggs or used in baking with a texture and flavor indistinguishable from fresh. A single small can holds the equivalent of 40 eggs and can remain viable for up to 7 years. Imagine the security of having years of breakfast sealed away, immune to power outages and supply chain failures. Powdered butter is another non-negotiable asset, offering a shelf-stable fat source for baking comfort foods that can soothe the frayed nerves of a family under siege. The supply lines for these alchemical products are already under stress. The production facilities are few, and whispers of maintenance shutdowns and transportation bottlenecks are growing louder. During the last major winter storm, a container of powdered milk was selling for nearly $50 on black markets. That is the future you are facing if you fail to act. Secure your powdered foundations now, and you secure your ability to maintain normalcy in a world gone mad. 6. The morale engine: instant nourishment meals. The romantic notion of cooking hearty meals from scratch during a disaster is a fantasy that will get you killed. When you are cold, exhausted, and living under the constant strain of a collapsing society, the energy required to prepare complex food is a resource you cannot afford to waste. This is where the ultimate and most overlooked category of survival food becomes paramount: modern, ready-to-eat meals. These are not the bland, salty rations of a bygone era. I am speaking of nutritionally complete, often delicious meals that can be prepared with minimal fuel, or in some cases, no fuel at all. My own sister's family survived a multi-day ice storm that severed their connection to the outside world, not because of their stockpile of rice and beans, but because they had a case of backpacker meals that could be rehydrated with cold water. That simple convenience was the difference between safety and a desperate, life-threatening journey on frozen roads. During a true crisis, your body is a furnace burning through calories just to stay warm and manage stress. You may not have the time, the fuel, or the mental clarity to cook. The demand for high-quality, ready-to-eat meals has already pushed manufacturers to their absolute limits. Some are operating at nearly double their normal capacity and still cannot keep up. You may have already noticed the empty spaces on the shelves at Costco or Walmart where the emergency food buckets used to be. That is not a temporary stock issue. That is the sound of the window of opportunity slamming shut. Fortunately, the quality of these meals has improved exponentially. Companies like Mountain House and ReadyWise produce everything from biscuits and gravy to pasta primavera that can provide a powerful psychological boost. Food monotony is a documented morale killer in emergency situations, leading to cognitive decline and emotional fatigue. The ability to eat something warm and familiar can steady a mind on the brink. Furthermore, specialized meals are now available for those with dietary restrictions: keto, gluten-free, low sodium, ensuring that a crisis does not trigger a medical emergency. Prices are still manageable in mainstream stores, but specialty retailers have already begun to inflate their prices in anticipation of the coming panic. Build your supply now, mixing meals that require hot water, cold water, and no preparation at all. These instant meals are more than just food. They are a strategic reserve of time, energy, and sanity. The signs are no longer subtle. They are screaming from the pages of shipping manifests and the quiet, frantic memos circulating in corporate boardrooms. The window to secure your future is not just closing, it is being slammed shut by forces entirely beyond your control. What I have shared with you is not a suggestion for a hobbyist pantry. It is a roadmap to enduring the coming collapse. By December 15, 2025, the grocery landscape you recognize will be nothing more than a memory, replaced by scarcity, rationing, and desperation. Those who choose to ignore these warnings are gambling with the highest stakes imaginable, assuming that the system will always be there to catch them. It won't. When the distribution centers lock their gates and the transport trucks sit idle, the line between survival and tragedy will be drawn by the decisions you make in these final moments of calm. Do not wait for the panic to begin in the streets. By the time the masses realize what is happening, the opportunity will have already vanished. Secure these items now, while the aisles are still deceptively full. The darkness is approaching fast, and it will not wait for you to be ready.